If I was to release those tapes, the world would shut down, okay? If I showed one of these tapes, I'm telling you right now, the whole music industry and Hollywood, it would just grind down like this. They're all gonna start pointing at each other like this, and it's gonna be bad.
Oh, it's gonna get bad, all right. Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Diddygate coverage. I'm Andy Signor, and there's been a lot of talk about this alleged memoir from Kim Porter. Her family is now deeming that it's fake. Diddy's own lawyer saying it's shameless, it's a scam. Amazon has actually pulled it because of Sean Combs' kids saying that it's fake. But now the author has gone and broken his silence and done an interview with The Art of the Dialogue. And it's pretty damning, guys. It's pretty fascinating. Now, look, I'd love to get this guy on the show. We are trying our best. This is the author. His name is Chris Todd. And he's here talking about a lot. We're going to go through some of these clips, and we're going to break this down even further in our live later today. There's also Jaguar White right out there doing a lot of stuff. We got so many updates, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell for all alerts. Smash that all so you get notified. And when you get notified, hit that like and leave a comment down below. Helps get these videos in the algorithm, and it's important we get this stuff out there. Now, do I believe this guy? I don't know what to believe, but man, Art of the Dialogue, the guy who's interviewing here does not. He gets extremely defensive. It's kind of a hard watch. I'd love to have Chris on, and we're reaching out to him. Chris, come on the show. I want to play some of these clips, though, so you can get a gauge of what you think about this guy and is the author of this book. Does he sound legit? Here are some clips. Here's Will and Jada mentioned.
Can you explain how the alleged memoir portrays the nature of Kim Porter's relationship with Diddy? Was an open relationship mentioned in the book verified by any source close to them?
About their sex life?
An open relationship.
Means a sex life. Yes, we have sources, and multiple sources said they had an open relationship, yes. She says it too, so I'm going by what she's saying. She's saying they do. And that they have threesomes with multiple celebrities. They're listed in the book. So yes. Am I going to go to Will Smith and Jada and ask them that? No, I'm not.
Okay.
Okay.
So.
Am I going to ask Jamie Foxx that?
Could you pull that up for me? I want to show you something.
Sure.
Now, again, you got to remember, this is a book that he got allegedly through a thumb drive, a USB drive stick that has not only Kim Porter's alleged diaries, but tapes and evidence. And he was given this after Kim's passing in a way to sort of get the truth out there by others. That's ultimately what this is about. Now, this guy's written some other books, other crime stories, etc., and that's ultimately, I guess, why he was selected. It's still a little confusing to me, but here's some more. Will Smith coming up again.
These are serious.
Hip-hop has always been steeped in controversy, but the latest developments involving Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs have reached unparalleled heights. Rumors, allegations, and a leaked prison call between the two legendary figures have set the internet ablaze. Careers, reputations, and even personal freedom hang in the balance as this saga unfolds, a gripping tale of loyalty, survival, and betrayal.
Celebrities are silent right now. Do you really think he's going to talk to me? Do you think he's going to admit to that?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay, I'm just giving you.
I'm not. The reason why I'm saying this because
I don't think any of us expect that Will's going to answer that question honestly.
The book alleges that Diddy kept a vault of tapes documenting his alleged sexual encounters. Was there any hard evidence that such a vault existed?
The sources say there was a vault that existed, yes, and some of the tapes were flown out of the country on a private jet.
I paused for effect because a vault did exist according to his sources, and those tapes that were in the vault were flown to other countries.
That's from the sources directly, so I have to believe them.
And this
not have to, but
right.
I have no way. How am I going to?
You see how that you run it that you have.
Do you expect me to go in his safe at his
house?
No.
I'm
get shot?
No. What I'm asking you is, like I said once again, because you're the guy who's spearheading this thing that allegedly comes from Kim. So me asking the questions, I'm like a can of spray paint.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know which wall to go, you know, and tell them.
Right.
So that's the reason why I ask these questions, because I actually don't know. So, and so, like I said.
Now, fair, but he's a little aggressive in this. The commenters agreed. Let's get a little bit more into these tapes.
So you didn't, these are other things that you didn't include and why did you keep that out?
Correct, because I can't reveal everything at once. It's too shocking.
It's too shocking if he reveals everything he knows at once. Now, one could argue, oh, come on, dude, just put it all out there. But he's now alleging it's that bad, guys. And here's that quote from the beginning in full context.
If I was to release those tapes, the world would shut down, okay? If I showed one of these tapes, I'm telling you right now, the whole music industry and Hollywood, it would just grind down like this. They're all gonna start pointing at each other like this, and it's gonna be bad. We've already set it up. We have multiple attorneys. We know how to do it. It's not my first rodeo. I solved the greatest murder case in history, 3 of them. I know how to do it. We're going to do it, but just gonna come in pieces. And there's also ways we can, let's say, not censor it, but we can kind of soften it, right? Like the whole tape doesn't have to come out. All the tape. I don't have all the tapes. There's other people that have the tapes.
In the latest twist, Diddy's attorney was reportedly left stunned when new footage tied to Kim Porter, Diddy's ex-partner and the mother of 4 of his children, surfaced. This footage is said to shed light on events previously kept in the shadows, adding fuel to an already blazing fire of controversy.
Steph, thank you. We are following breaking news right now related to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Major new allegations today of sexual assault and exploitation.
Interview 2. Imagine being Jay-Z, a music and business powerhouse, a billionaire, husband to Beyonce, and father to 3. Suddenly, your name is tied to one of the gravest accusations imaginable. A lawsuit alleges involvement in a heinous crime, with Diddy also implicated. This isn't just a tabloid headline, it's a life-altering crisis. If the leaked call is any indication, Jay-Z's response to this storm is anything but conventional.
From Combs yet.
So the individual that you see on the screen right now, that is an attorney based out of Houston, Texas, and his name is Tony Busby. He's been a part of some very well-known litigation over the years involving the BP oil spill, even involving the Astroworld Music Festival crisis where some individuals were killed during a stampede. So he has made headlines before, but this is pretty shocking. So he claims is claiming right now at this press conference that he has had over 3,000 individuals reach out to his law firm in Houston, Texas, that he and his team have been vetting these claims, that now they are representing over 120 accusers, and that over the next 30 days, they will begin to file different civil suits, that this is not a class action lawsuit.
The story began with a book that claimed to be based on Kim Porter's personal diary, titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice. From the other side, the book allegedly reveals harrowing details of Porter's life, including allegations of abuse, coercion, and vile *NCE. The quiet release of this book on Amazon turned into a viral sensation after news of Diddy's arrest broke. It wasn't long before Amazon reportedly removed the book from its platform, but by then, the damage, or perhaps the truth, was already unleashed.
But they are going to continue to vet these allegations, but right now they feel strong about these. So he also said today that it's not just Combs that will be named as a defendant, that there will be other high-profile individuals, some household names. He says, quote, many powerful people, there are many dirty secrets. He says that his team has collected pictures, video, and that the allegations include violent sexual assault or rape, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, dissemination of video recordings, and sexual abuse of minors. So this was something else that they talked about, that there are 25 accusers who were allegedly minors at the time that these allegations took place starting in 1991, span all the way up over 2 decades. He also talks about where these individuals are from. He said that they hail from more than 25 states, New York, California, Florida. We know that Diddy had a residence in Miami, Georgia. We've reached out to Sean Combs' legal team for comment. They have not yet responded. Combs is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn while he is awaiting trial on the New York indictment, where he is charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges. Now, I also just want to point out that they also claim that 62% of these individuals are identifying as an African American, and that they are evenly split between female accusers and male accusers, and Clay. So this is very interesting. And he said that look, I know that everybody expected me today or wanted me to name other high profile individuals. He says, I'm not going to do that today, but it will come at some point. And he says that these names will shock you.
Wow. I mean, shocking details to say the very least. And I'm sure just the start of what's to come. Chloe Malas, thanks so much.
As the legal battle intensified, Courtney Burgess, a key witness in the case, and his attorney Ariel Mitchell made bold moves. Burgess claimed to have received a manuscript of...
The leaked prison call reveals a calculated move by Jay-Z to distance himself from Diddy. Once collaborators and friends, Jay-Z now appears laser-focused on self-preservation. Sources suggest he's ready to throw Diddy under the bus to protect himself and his family, a stark shift from their once-close bond.
In jail as he awaits trial in the explosive sex trafficking and racketeering case against him. Prosecutors describe a large criminal ring orchestrated by Combs to sexually abuse dozens of women, drugging them, beating them, and recording sexual acts for at least 15 years. The move from the judge to hold the musician mogul in jail before his trial comes as prosecutors argue Combs, his massive wealth, makes him a flight risk. And they're also accusing him of witness tampering, trying to keep both them, witnesses, and his victims silent. Combs' team offered a $50 million bond agreement, with his attorney claiming Combs is, in his words, eminently trustworthy. The judge didn't buy it. It is a stunning fall from the height of pop culture. Combs, however, is pleading not guilty and has denied any wrongdoing. Let's bring in NBC's Chloe Malas for more. And Chloe, there are no phones, no electronics allowed on court.
We actually have breaking news. We have some breaking news right now. According to NBC News, just moments ago, I'm reading off my phone right now, Sean Diddy Combs will not be released. And this is per the district attorney's office. So let me explain and silence my phone and break down what exactly that means, or else my kids will call me during this entire segment. So this basically means, Tom, that now Sean Diddy Combs sits behind bars until this potentially goes to trial. Why do I say potentially? Even though his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, spoke to CNN last night and said that it is very unlikely that he would accept any sort of a plea deal. And we don't even know if a plea deal would even be on the table with these very extreme criminal charges of racketeering, transportation when it comes to prostitution and sex trafficking. We do know that this could be potentially a year behind bars. I was talking to NBC's legal analyst and correspondent Laura Jarrett earlier today. And, there's so many motions and, so much discovery to do, as you know, and you've covered things like this, I'm sure, that it takes a while to get ready for a big criminal trial like this when there's so many charges and so many different grand jury subpoenas and things like that. So currently, though, he is in jail. And that's what it is. Everybody asks me the difference between jail and prison. You go to prison after you've...
Mitchell, who has been vocal and fearless in her approach, dismissed any concerns about facing off against Diddy's powerful legal team. I keep two straps on me, she declared on live television, referring to her sense of preparedness and security. Her unflinching confidence has made her a central figure in this unfolding drama, as she vows to bring justice for Kim Porter and others allegedly harmed by Diddy.
Been found guilty. Right now he's in jail. And he's in jail in Brooklyn. And this is one of the main issues that his legal team had, was that this detention center in Brooklyn has seen suicides. It saw somebody get killed over the summer, food contamination, overcrowding, and they listed all of this in their filing to the judge. But clearly this federal judge was not persuaded, Tom. And so now that's it. He stays behind bars while he waits to have this tried in court.
Well, he is...
At first glance, this turn of events seems shocking. Jay-Z and Diddy, often regarded as cornerstones of the hip-hop community, have shared stages, business ventures, and personal connections. But in the face of crisis, survival instincts can overshadow friendship. The leaked conversation captures Jay-Z's unyielding determination to clear his name, no matter the cost.
You do see, let's say, accusations against minors, which we don't see in this indictment. You can sometimes see some of these high-profile alleged criminals maybe put into solitary confinement. Will he be treated like any other inmate while he's in this detention center in Brooklyn? It's sort of left to be seen. I think that over the coming weeks, we'll see what happens and what types of motions that his team files if they feel as though he is under immediate threat, or if he gets, beat up in prison or in jail. See, I made that mistake. If he gets beat up in jail or if something like that happens, I guess maybe always things could change. I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein, for example. Not that I want to compare the two, but Harvey Weinstein has been been treated in a medical ward because he has all of these medical issues, right? And so the judge had decided even today that he can still stay in the medical ward. So again, I think it's a case-by-case basis, and we have to see how this all plays out. But let's just put it this way. Sean Diddy Combs is a billionaire. He achieved billionaire status in 2022. He is not going to be happy, Tom, being in jail. And this is a far cry from his multi-million-dollar homes all across this country. So obviously it's a huge fall from grace for somebody that was such a pioneer in the music industry.
Yeah, but to your point, Chloe, if it were you or me, not suggesting either one of us would ever face these kinds of charges, but there is no way we'd be out on bail or bond, right? I mean, these are incredibly serious charges that could land him in prison for years and years and years, and they involve violence, not to mention racketeering.
Yeah, but that's not all. Burgess dropped a bombshell when he revealed he had received 11 flash drives containing explicit content, including 8C* tapes featuring multiple celebrities. These tapes, he claims, are tied to events that Diddy allegedly orchestrated. According to Mitchell, these revelations have left Diddy's team furious, as they seem to validate the claims against him.
It's the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional.
One of the most striking elements of the call is Jay-Z's legal strategy. Reports suggest his lawyers are targeting inconsistencies in the accuser's claims, filing motions that accuse Jane Doe of evidence tampering and highlighting contradictions in her testimony. This aggressive legal maneuvering reflects the gravity of the accusations and the high stakes involved.
Alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get
Diddy's legal troubles don't stop there. He is facing multiple lawsuits, including allegations of teen racketeering, trafficking, and more. The charges paint a chilling picture of a man who allegedly used his wealth and power to exploit others, manipulate situations, and evade justice for years. Despite his defense team's efforts to secure house arrest with a $50 million bail package, Diddy remains incarcerated, with 2 judges denying his bail requests.
His way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex.
Diddy, meanwhile, appears increasingly vulnerable. Unlike Jay-Z, who has publicly distanced himself, Diddy reportedly hopes that Jay-Z's legal success will benefit them both. However, this optimism seems misplaced. The leaked call indicates that Jay-Z has no plans to align his fate with Diddy's and might even ensure that Diddy bears the brunt of the fallout.
After public allegations were made about Combs' crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that.
For those who once admired Diddy as a trailblazer in the music industry, these revelations are both shocking and disheartening. The allegations against him are not just about personal misconduct, but also systemic abuse of power. The details emerging from this case have sparked conversations about accountability, justice, and the dark side of fame and influence.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested by federal agents at a hotel here in New York City. Combs had been living there for several weeks. A person with knowledge of the investigation told NBC News the arrest was based on a sealed indictment brought by the Southern District of New York. The contents of the indictment won't be known until later today, but Combs is facing a wave of lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault and misconduct. In March, federal investigators searched his homes in Miami and Los Angeles. Combs' attorney expressed disappointment with the arrest, saying his client had been cooperating with the investigation, adding, "He is an imperfect person, but he is not a..."
Why would Jay-Z adopt such a ruthless stance? The answer lies in his position of power. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper. He's a mogul with ventures spanning music, fashion, sports, and technology. His brand symbolizes excellence and influence, and a scandal of this magnitude threatens everything he's built. For Jay-Z, survival means controlling the narrative and safeguarding his family.
From a woman who alleges she was raped by Combs when she was 19 years old. Combs is currently being held in a detention center in New York City on separate federal criminal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. He has pleaded not guilty.
NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Melas joins us now with this exclusive reporting. So, Chloe, walk us through what we should know about these new lawsuits.
Hey there, guys. These are the first civil suits being filed by Texas-based attorney Tony Busby. He held that press conference not long ago in which he said he was representing dozens of accusers and that he would be naming some high-profile individuals besides Combs. These are the first, and so there were 5 suits filed today on behalf of 4 men and 2 women, all of which are remaining anonymous out of fear, according to these suits. And these allegations, they only name Combs and his businesses and actually a hotel and a department store as defendants. They don't name any other high-profile celebrities. And these complaints span from the years of 1995 all the way up to 2021. They accuse Combs of sexual assault and rape, and we've reached out to his team for comment and have not yet heard back. But I do want you to hear a little bit from my interview that I did just a little while ago with attorney Tony Busby.
There's an overarching theme here, as you probably can see, which is basically Sean Combs feels like he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants to do it. A lot of the conduct alleged is violent, and threats were made. And I think, but for the fact that Sean Combs was arrested and bail denied, these people would not have come forward.
Busby says he's going to be file other civil suits, and this is all coming as Combs is facing a criminal trial this May.
As the story unfolds, questions arise about the broader implications of these accusations. How many other victims might come forward? How will this case reshape public perceptions of celebrity culture and accountability? And most importantly, will justice be served for Kim Porter and others who have allegedly suffered at the hands of a powerful figure?
Hey, I'm Hallie, and tonight we are learning in just the last few minutes that a federal judge is now refusing to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail. Instead, he's going straight to jail tonight after Diddy pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Want to show you some of these brand new court sketches coming into us, like literally in the last 90 seconds. This is Combs in court after prosecutors arrested him at a hotel in Manhattan. It's where he's apparently been living for weeks, according to what a person familiar with the move tells NBC News. All of it a tipping point now in that sprawling federal investigation into the superstar's alleged years of sex crimes dating back to 2009. As we're just getting in some new and deeply disturbing details about the allegations against him. And what looks like a massive criminal operation, allegedly. At least 50 victims and witnesses so far. And at the center of it, these hours and days-long sex acts known as, in their words, freak-offs that Combs supposedly orchestrated to abuse his victims.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs. And he often electronically recorded them.
Prosecutors say Combs punched and kicked his victims to try to keep them under control. He'd also, they say, filled them up with drugs like ketamine and ecstasy for long periods of time, even using incriminating records to try to manipulate his victims. Prosecutors say they discovered this wide range of evidence against Combs in several raids. They found things, they say, like AR-15s, narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants.
Public opinion adds another dimension to this drama. Hip-hop fans are split. Some view Jay-Z's actions as a pragmatic response to an existential threat, while others see it as a betrayal of the culture's unspoken code of loyalty. Social media is rife with debates, memes, and conspiracy theories. Has Jay-Z crossed a line? Or is he simply outmaneuvering everyone else?
This request for bail. Explain why that is and what else we've learned today.
Yeah, that's right. We were in there for about 2 hours as the Justice Department from the Southern District of New York laid out their case, very similar to what you saw in the indictment, saying why he should not be released because they say that he is a flight risk, he could leave the country, and also that he has a history of obstructing justice. They also pointed to how serious these crimes were.
Adding to the intrigue, Diddy's legal team has been fighting tooth and nail to control the narrative. They recently requested a gag order to prevent accusers' lawyers from speaking to the media. This move has been criticized as an attempt to silence voices and shield Diddy from further scrutiny. Burgess, however, remains undeterred. He continues to speak out, providing crucial evidence and standing firm in his quest for justice.
With previous allegations of sex trafficking like R. Kelly and Jeffrey Epstein, the judges also denied bail in that case. But his defense laid out a very lengthy rebuttal to all of that. We heard them say that this is different from Jeffrey Epstein and R. Kelly because there are no minors being alleged in the indictment here. They also say that these acts were consensual, and they point to victim number one, who's named over and over again, who they say is someone was in a 10-year relationship with Combs that was toxic but consensual. They said that this person actually tried to sell this same story as book rights to Combs to try to get it out of the media's eye, but instead when he refused, then this civil lawsuit came up. But the judge ultimately said that he could not be released because he is a danger, he has a history of substance abuse and anger issues, and she really drilled down on the fact that after those civil allegations came out last November, he talked to multiple women who he knew during that period and who he apparently tried to change their narrative so they wouldn't go forward and continue testifying or being witnesses to some of these acts that were alleged in the civil complaint and then were again put in the indictment today. And so she said in order to keep that from happening and really to end sex trafficking, since that can happen behind closed doors, it was best to keep him detained without bond.
Julia, it is, I think for a lot of folks, they will find this stunning considering that Diddy, right, Sean Combs, has been previously one of the most successful music superstars in the world. Just a year ago, he was handed a key to New York City. Now here we are, after months of this being out in the public, these allegations being made public, his denials. He's potentially facing 15 years to life in prison. What does the timeline look like here?
Well, we understand that tomorrow they'll try to appeal the judge's decision. His defense will do that tomorrow at 3:30. They'll meet again next week for a conference, and then perhaps we'll be looking at a trial early next year. But Hallie, I have to say what you said there was also striking. I mean, I watched him today sitting there very humbly in court in a black T-shirt, nodding along with his defense, otherwise just looking very stoic, straight ahead at the judge. It's hard to imagine this is the same man, but the timeline is also staggering. It's one thing to think, oh, that was something that happened a long time ago.
The leaked call also highlights the volatile nature of power in hip-hop. Alliances often appear solid, but can crumble under pressure. Jay-Z and Diddy's dynamic showcases how fortunes shift rapidly. Once united by ambition, they now find themselves adversaries in a high-stakes game where trust is a liability.
A crush of cameras, a crush of people.
It is. It's been really crowded today, and there have been people who've been driving by, sometimes screaming, "Free Diddy." Someone else stood up earlier and said Tupac would be ashamed of Diddy. It's been a lot of people, a lot of public interest here. I will say the court wasn't as crowded as I thought, but still nearly full, and also full of his friends and family who came out.
The controversy surrounding Diddy isn't just a legal battle, it's a cultural reckoning. It highlights the need to question the systems that allow powerful individuals to operate without consequences. It's a reminder that no one is above the law, and the truth, no matter how deeply buried, has a way of surfacing.
Now the Sean Diddy Combs investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week. Our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Kotersky, is at the scene of his arrest. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning to you, Robin. This is the hotel where Sean Combs was arrested a week ago. You can now see how that arrest went down. This morning, watch how federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs. His lawyer said Combs had come to New York 2 weeks earlier with the intention of turning himself in. He did not expect the agents to be waiting at his hotel last Monday night.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in. 1, 2, 3.
A day earlier, Combs seen out and about in New York with his family, seemingly in good spirit.
Diddy's strategy is another question mark. Is he prepared to defend himself independently? Or is he counting on Jay-Z's success? If it's the latter, he might be in for a rude awakening. The leaked call suggests Jay-Z has already prioritized his own interests, regardless of the consequences for Diddy.
Dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
Combs, who lived in this $50 million Miami mansion, is now in an isolated unit of a federal jail in Brooklyn known for miserable conditions.
The special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit, which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
When Combs first arrived at jail, he was monitored for suicide. That's common for any high-profile inmate. But his attorney says Combs is not suicidal. Rather, guys, he's focused on defending himself. Guys?
All right, we'll see what happens going forward. Aaron, thank you.
Kim Porter's untimely death in 2018 left a void in the lives of her children and those who knew her. Now, with these revelations, her legacy is taking on a new dimension, whether through her alleged memoir or the voices of those seeking justice on her behalf. Kim's story is forcing a spotlight onto issues that demand attention.
Tonight, 3 men accusing Sean Diddy Combs of rape and sexual assault, according to separate civil lawsuits filed Thursday. The suits allege Diddy plied them with doctored drinks, then attacked them while they were unconscious.
They were all very consistent, frighteningly consistent.
New York-based attorney Thomas Giffra represents the 3 anonymous accusers.
All 3 of these guys, same thing. They'd wake up and he'd be raping them.
Kind of difficult for me.
Tonight, one of the new accusers speaking exclusively to NBC News.
Can you explain to everyone why you don't want to reveal your identity?
Well, at the top of the list, it's definitely shameful and embarrassing.
In early 2020, he says he met with Combs at a hotel in Times Square, seeking payment for errand-type work he had completed for Diddy. He says the discussion was cordial and he had a drink.
Within 2 minutes, I start to feel like just very tired, very sleepy. Mind you, I'm not under the impression that I'm being drugged or anything like that.
He says he was so groggy that he laid down on the couch.
When I finally kind of came to, I could feel myself being humped, and I could feel I was penetrated. I'm like, hey, what's... And the thing that sticks in my head.
And what of the accuser, Jane Doe? Her allegations have ignited widespread debate while highlighting the issue of accountability in the entertainment industry. For too long, power and privilege have shielded celebrities from scrutiny. This case could mark a turning point, demanding even the most untouchable figures answer for their actions.
Against him. There are now more than a dozen civil cases that have been filed against Combs. He remains in jail awaiting trial on federal charges, including sex trafficking, and he has pleaded not guilty.
The leaked footage, the flash drives, the lawsuits, these are not just pieces of evidence. They are fragments of a larger story that speaks to the complexities of power, fame, and justice. As this case moves forward, it serves as a crucial test for the legal system, a moment of reckoning for the entertainment industry, and a wake-up call for society as a whole.
Tonight, Jay-Z fighting back against a rape accusation. His attorney filing a letter to the judge to dismiss the rape lawsuit against his client, citing an NBC News exclusive that found inconsistencies with the accuser's story.
You should always advocate for yourself.
It comes after our interview with a 38-year-old mother from Alabama who accuses Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter of raping her when she was 13 years old. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party. She says at the party she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo. It's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at that time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter both raped her. She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said, in remembering what happened 24 years ago. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, "This incident didn't happen. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory." A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
For now, the world watches as Sean Diddy Combs faces allegations that could forever alter his legacy. The questions loom large. Will the truth prevail? Will the victims find closure?
With legal proceedings ongoing, the leaked call is just one piece of a complex puzzle. As the story unfolds, the stakes continue to rise. Will Jay-Z's strategy pay off, or could it backfire spectacularly? Can Diddy mount a defense strong enough to salvage his reputation? And how might this case reshape the culture of hip-hop itself?
Says she was invited to an after party after being spotted by a limo driver and was then assaulted by both rappers. Jay-Z is calling this a blackmail attempt. He released a statement on social media responding to the lawsuit, and Texas attorney behind the legal action saying in part, "These allegations are so heinous in nature, you have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I look forward to showing you just how different I am."
One thing is certain, this story is far from over, and as more details emerge, it's clear that the battle for justice is only just beginning.
What's certain is that the leaked call has shifted the landscape. It's a stark reminder that, in times of crisis, even the closest alliances can fracture. Jay-Z's approach, while controversial, underscores his deep understanding of power in a world where loyalty is often an illusion. Survival, it seems, demands ruthless pragmatism. As this drama captivates the public, it offers a sobering glimpse into human nature. When the stakes are high, people go to extraordinary lengths to protect themselves. For Jay-Z, that means severing ties with a former ally to focus on his own survival. For Diddy, it means confronting isolation at his most vulnerable moment. This isn't just a legal battle between two icons. It's a cautionary tale about the fragility of relationships in an ambition-driven world. As fans, we can only watch and wonder what twists the next chapter will bring. One thing remains clear: the drama is far from over.